Okay, welcome to 2.4 circle graphs. This is going to be the last part to our chapter 2 graphing. So we're going to be dealing with circle graphs. So let's just jump right into example 1 here. And you can kind of see how circle graphs work here now. So it says the following circle graph shows how people in Maxine's office building get to work. There are 350 people working in the building. So I can see pretty quickly here now that if I was looking at just car alone, so this color, 61% of them do. Public transport, that's these guys over here, 22%. Carpool, 9%. Bike, 5%. Walk, 3%. Okay, so A says what percentage of the people walk to work? How many people does this represent? So first off, what percentage of the people walk to work? We already figured that one out. That's just 3%, right? 3%. But we need to write that as number of people, right? Percentage doesn't really mean anything to me if I want to know how many people does that actually represent. So we need to figure out what 3% of 350 people is. So remember how we find percentages? We just divide percent by 100 to get it to a decimal. So that would be 0.03. Or you can think about it as just moving the decimal place over twice. So if the decimal was behind the 3 there, now it moves over 1, 2 times, and we have 0.03, right? However you want to think about it, we need to write it as a decimal first, and then just multiply that by 350. This is a really important skill that you guys need to figure out how to take a percentage of a number. That's going to be really important in everyday life. So make sure you kind of, if you're ever going to pay attention to anything in math, make sure you know that one. All right. So then you just go 0.03 times 350. That's going to be 10.5. But now, can I have 10.5 people? What would that look like? I have half a person? That doesn't make any sense. So what we do in the end is we just round that up one. So we'd say that this is 11 people. Okay, part B says what percentage of people come to work in a car? So now you gotta kind of be careful here because you would think, okay, I'm just gonna figure out this one, but just careful reading. Carpool, people who are taking a car together, right? Two people in a car, they're also taking a car. So we need to add those two together. So for that one, we need to go, okay, well, car alone is 61%. Carpooling people was 9%. So I need to go 61 plus 9%. So this is 70%. All right, now I just need to figure out what that is of 350. So I'm going to write 70% as a decimal by dividing it by 100 or moving the decimal. 70% is written as 0.7 or 0.70, however you want to do it. That 0 doesn't really change anything. And then that times 350. So 0.7 times 350 is 245. So that'd be my answer for that one. 245 people come to work in a car, whether they carpool or go alone. Okay, now C says consider those who carpool, walk, or bike. Is this more or less the number of people or the number who take public transport? Okay, so if we got carpool, that's carpool. Walk was that one, and bike was that one. We really just want to know, are those three things all added together more or less than 22%, those who take public transport? And that's it. So just go 9 plus 5 is 14, plus 3 is 17. So it looks like these all add together to 17. So that's not more. But now it says how many more or less. So what you're going to have to do, if I made those three, I said was 17, right? So those, carpool, walk, or bike was 17%. I got to figure out what that is out of 100. So I got to figure out how many people that is. So I'm going to go 0.17 times 350 to figure out how many people that actually will be. So 0.17 times 350 is 59.5. Okay, and then the people who take public transport was 22%. So I'm going to go, 0.22 times 350 is 77. So now the question was how many more? So how much bigger is 77 than this number? So we're just going to go 77 minus 59.5. So I've even got it in there still, so we'll just go minus 59.5. So 17.5. But actually, I'm going to step back one step here. I should have rounded this up first. So we'll call that 60, right? So it was 77 minus 60 would be an easier way to do that. So round the numbers when you get them. So that would end up being 17. So 17 people. 17 more people, right? Okay, moving on. Okay, so let's start at build your skills number 1. I'm going to let you guys answer these ones now. The circle graph below shows the results of a survey or student survey. 171 students were asked their favorite color. So this is important. This is what you're going to multiply those percentages by to figure things out. Now, how many students chose green as their favorite color? So I'll kind of give you like a heads up here. Green is going to be this one. We need to write that as a decimal and then multiply that by the total number of students to figure out how many students that'll be. So go ahead and answer that now. Okay, B, what is the most popular color? Approximately how many students chose it? So again, it's going to be similar to the one above. I'll let you guys answer that one now. Okay, number 2. The circle graph below indicates the percentage of his income that Frank spends on different items. So we've got expenditures, so things that he spends stuff on. So we got transport, savings, entertainment, food, clothing, and housing. On what 2 items does he spend the same amount? So I'll let you guys answer that now. Okay, so I'll give you a bit of a heads up on B here. It says if he puts $250 per month into savings, what is his total income? So we're going to go in the opposite direction with this now. We're saying that, this one. This 45%, his savings, right? Oh no, sorry, savings was 10%. So this one, he's saying if he puts $250 a month into that, what was the whole pie? What was the whole circle? So we're, like I said, we're just kind of moving backwards on this now. So I'll just maybe write on this side, savings was 10%, he did, and he puts in 250. Okay, so what we need to do, so what we really have here, so it's $250, right? I'm just gonna kind of write it out so we kind of know what we're talking about here. $250 over some number, over some number X, then that's what we're looking for, is equal to 10%. And it would be equal to 0.10, right? If we were writing it as a decimal. Hopefully that makes sense. So it's 250 over some number is 10%. That's what they're saying. That's what the graph in the last one was saying, right? That if I went the other way, if we had our total number of money that this person makes, and I take 10% of that, that would be $250, right? So if I go back here, so if I wanted to figure out what X was, that little trick I was showing you, if you just put this over 1, you guys can do your little cross multiplying trick now. So 250 times 1 divided by that would give you that. Okay? The other way of thinking about it is it's the opposite of what we did before. So remember when we went 0.1 or 0.10% of some number, let's say it was like $750. I'm just like making that up right now to figure out what 10% was. So you multiplied by the number in that case. So now what you would do is you're going to divide. So if I wanted to figure out what x was, instead of multiplying by 10% or 0.10, you're going to divide by that instead. So we're, in the end, this whole thing that you did here with the, doing the fish thing, that'd be the same thing as going 250 divided by 0.10. You get the same answer, right? So if you want to think about it like that, you're just doing the opposite of what you normally do. Or if you want to think about it as like setting up two ratios like this, you can do whatever one you like. Okay, so now I'd like you guys to do C. So draw a bar graph depicting the same information. Which gives you the better depiction of his expenditures? Y. So remember, a bar graph was like a histogram, but the bars didn't connect. So it might be like that, and then one's like, they're just apart from each other. And then one of these bars might be like his savings, and the other one, yeah, each one of those things, right? And then dollar is up the side. So yeah, make sure, I want to see that you guys have this done in your book before you move on to, or before you do the test. Okay, number 3. Okay, so this one is just pretty much interpreting what's happening in the graph. So this is household water use. We've got like bath, dishwasher, leaks, faucet. Man, they lose a lot from leaks, eh? Yeah. So A says, what is the total percentage of water used for the faucet, shower, and bath? So go ahead and answer that now. B, what is the percentage, or what percentage is used by the dishwasher and the clothes washer? And then C, which two uses together account for about half of the water used per day? Okay, moving on. 56. No, that's the page number on my thing. Never mind, ignore that. Okay, now we're going to kind of go the other way. So we're going to start off with some data, so something like this. And then what we're going to be able to do is draw our own circle graph from it. So I'll let you guys kind of look through this one. It kind of lays out how to do it. I'll show you just on the first question how to do it though. So maybe we can even start with smaller numbers. It might make things easier. So number 4 here. This is just a picture of a protractor I added, so you guys don't have that. It says Patty surveyed students at her school to find out what kind of pets they have. The following table shows the survey results. So we want to put this into this circle graph here. Okay, so the pet we're gonna have, you could have dogs, cats, or a rodent gerbil. So it says draw a circle graph to represent the data. So we're gonna have like a dot in the center, and there's gonna be something like that. There's only gonna be 3 of them, so something like that, right? But we gotta figure out what these things are, and we actually need to measure it. That's why the protractor is out. So first off, though, we need to figure out what these angles actually are. So if let's say this one was dog, and I say okay, 39%, 50 be there, be something like that. You guys need to be able to measure exactly what that would be, what that angle there is. So I'll show you how to do that. Step number 1 on these ones, you need to add up all the numbers to figure out what, how many people were actually surveyed, like what the total number is. So we're gonna go 39 plus 44 plus 21. So 104. So there were 104 people surveyed in total. Okay, now we're going to use that for, first we'll go dog. So for the dog, we want to figure out what that angle is going to be. What we're going to do is go, okay, well, so of the dogs, 30, or of the total number of pets, I mean, 39 of them were dogs. So we go 39 over 104. That's going to be our first ratio that we're setting up. Okay, that's going to be the, yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Okay, then we're going to say, okay, that's going to be equal to, now, here's the question. Maybe you remember this from last year's, maybe you don't, it's fine if you don't. What is the angle if I start from, like, there, and I go all the way around, so all the way around the outside? Well, there's 360. There's 360 degrees all the way around in the circle, right? So the way you might remember that, I don't know if you snowboard or ski or do anything where you kind of spin, you'd say, okay, that guy did a 180 or that guy did a 360. A 360 would mean that you spun all the way around. So from where you started all the way back to where you ended. That's why it's called a 360. A 180 would just be half of that. It's like spinning the board around just once or spinning the skis around just halfway around. That's how I remember anyway. So now 39 over 104, that's going to be equal to some angle over 360 degrees. So we're going to write X for that. So we know what it's going to be. So now you guys can do your little fish thing here, right? So 360 times 39 divided by 104 should give you that. So if we go 360 times 39 divided by 104. So 135. So X in this case for the dog, I'm going to write down here just at the bottom. So dog is going to be, what do they say? 30 or 135 degrees. And I'm going to circle that just so I can keep track of it because I'm going to have a few to do. Okay, so what I mean by, so why that was useful is because now, if I'm making my chart, I know that's going to be 135 degrees is what the dogs are going to be. Okay, now what I'm going to do is do the cats. So it's going to be the same thing. I'll maybe do a different color so we can keep it organized here. Let's do cats in orange. So cat is going to be 44. So it's going to be 44 over a total of 104, right? That was all of them. Is going to be equal to something over 360 degrees. So now it's going to be, just do your fish thing again. 360 times 44 divided by 104. So 360 times 44 divided by 104 is equal to 152. And we won't worry about the decimal, just 152, and it rounds down to that. So we're going to say 152 degrees. Okay, and then the last one are going to be rodents. So we'll do that in blue. Okay, rodents is going to be the same thing, but now it's just going to be 21 over 104 is equal to X over 360. So we go 360 times 21 divided by 104. So it's going to be 72.6, or I'm going to round that up to 73. So it's going to be 73 degrees. All right, now we can do stuff with these numbers now, right? So if I go back to my green one, we'll start off with dogs here. 135. I just want to show you guys how to use the protractor. So if I grab my protractor here, bear with me, this might not work as well as I think. 135. Okay, I kind of lined it up the best I could here. So if we started along the side here, like along this side, and this was 0, right? You can pretty much call it 0 wherever you want, but we'll have it start here. And then it's going to go to 135. So then what you're going to do is just count from 0. It has to be this one, right? So if I'm calling this 0, don't start at 180. Start at the other scale, the one below it that says 0. And then from there, we're going to go this way, all the way around until you get to 130 and then 135. So then what you do is you just make a tick right there at 135. Okay? Hopefully that made sense. Our 0 mark was like right there, right? And then what you do after you made that tick, grab your picture out of there, or not your picture, your protractor. I'm just gonna clean those things away because all you'd really have is like your center dot, and then this one, and then all you do is you draw a line from that dot that you made to your center mark, and then also from where you started, right over to 0. We started that as being like our 0 mark. So if you do that, then now I know that this angle from there to there is going to be 135 degrees. So we're good for that one so far. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing. We will do the same thing. Here, 1 second. I need to flip this. Let me pause it. Okay, I think I figured it out. So grab your protractor. I flipped it upside down here now. So we're still starting from 0. You also could have started on that angled one that you did and made that your new 0. Wouldn't matter. I just can't do it with the way I can't like do it. Like I can only go straight up and down or upside down on my program. So if you do that, now let's do cats. Was 152 degrees. Okay, so if I'm looking at this, grab my orange pen now. 0 starts right there, right? And then what you're going to do is count this way from 0 this time. You can see that 0 is right there. And we're going to count to 152. So now it's the outside scale because that's where 0 is at. So we're just going to go all the way around. 150 is right there. So I'm going to go a little bit farther than that. 152 would be like that second dot right there. And again, we're going from the center. So then once you're done that, you can grab your protractor and move it out of there. And then draw a line from the center to the point that you made there. So now this one, from there to there, that was 152 degrees. Okay, and then your last one there, if you did that correct, your last one, you could measure it with your protractor after 2. Should be 73 degrees. Okay, so that'd be pretty much it. Then the last thing that you want to do to kind of make this look right is put the legend in properly. So dogs, let's color it in, however you kind of want. You can color it in, you could shade it all in, or you could just make like, I'm going to make dogs just lines this way. I'm going to make cats, maybe lines this way. And then I'm going to make rodents lines this way. Or you can make it like dashes or whatever you want to do. And then just make a little legend over on the side that said what percentages they were. Okay, so we've got our graph written properly now. The other thing that we probably should have done to begin with, doesn't matter, you can do it now though, is figure out what these things are as percentages. So if I want to figure out what 39 out of 104 was, remember, like that's what these numbers were. If you just go 39 divided by 104, so 39 divided by 104, that'll tell you what that is as a percentage. So 38%, 0.3, round the 7 up to an 8, so 38%. So this is going to be 38%. The cat would be 44 divided by 104. So 42%. And rodents, 21 divided by 104, would be 20%. Okay, so now that we're going to make our label, we can say dogs. Make a little like box there, and we said they were like lines like that. We said cats were orange. And then rodents were blue. Okay, and then the last thing, just put those percentages that we made beside where they go. So we'd say this was 38%. We said that The cats were 42%. And rodents were 20%. Okay, that's how you do it in a nutshell. All right, so I'm going to let you guys go ahead and do the rest of them now for this one. But I'll give you a heads up on B here, kind of what we're looking for. So it says, Gerard says that the graph does not accurately display the data, as there were 24 students who did not have pets, and that this should be recorded. If this data is recorded, what difference will it make to the size of the sectors? Sectors are like the orange, green, and blue things that we had. Draw a circle graph to include the sector of students who do not have pets. So now, instead of having only 3 spots, we're going to have 4. There's going to be another one that's, no pets. There'd be one that was like no pets also in our circle graph. So how can we do that? Well, the difference here is going to start from the fact that we went 39 plus 44 plus 21 gave us 104. You're going to have one more plus in there. You're also going to have now 24 students that don't have pets at all. So that's going to be your first step to figure out your total number that you have. Then all these numbers are going to be different, right? You're going to have, instead of 104, it's going to be what your new number will be. So you're going to have to do that again. And then you're going to have one more for no pets. And you'll do the same thing, right? And then, yeah, it's pretty much the exact same process. But there's going to be 4 different sectors in that one up there. So I'll let you guys go ahead and work through that. Okay, and then the next page, we got something similar. And then another one for 6. Okay, and when you're done those questions, actually, you know what? I'll do you a favor. Number 6, don't do that one. So just number 5 on that one. Okay, so no 6. Then I'd like you to do the practice your skills questions on your own. Just make sure that they're finished. And I want you to show me your work before you move on to the chapter test. And then remember, for the chapter test, I'll do a video like this too. So go over to the right under the evidence column, and you'll find the Edpuzzle for the chapter test. And that's how you're going to submit it, is through Edpuzzle again. Okay, so that's it for that video. I'll see you guys in the next one.